Hey everybody, this is P from Spinnerack, and I said that lightning struck 3 times. No, I guess it was 4 times at Image Comics because you had Youngblood, the initial strike. You had Spawn, which was the mainstay. You had Gen 13, it came out of nowhere. And then once you have a book that's a success, but it wasn't his book, it wasn't what's the name, J. Scott Campbell's book. It was still Jim Lee's kind of book. It was still his creator-owned book. So since he had an idea, he knew that he had some talent that wanted to do their own creator-owned stuff, and they were kind of like chomping at the bit. And at the same time, it's like, well, J. Scott Campbell's he's chomping at the bit to do something. He already had a homage line of comic books that wasn't as big as the other stuff, but it was hot, some hot titles, right? And then he decided to do Cliffhanger. He pulled out 3 of the hottest artists at the time. J. Scott Campbell, we had Judera, right? We have him doing Battle Chasers. In this book, I don't know what's going on with it, but it is a gorgeous book. I believe I have a bunch of those, but if I go to the con, I might pick up some more. And we have Danger Girl, right? So Danger Girl was really the break. Well, both of those books were the breakout thing, but I think DC still reprints Danger Girl and does different miniseries from time to time with Danger Girl. Now, let's first say there is nothing new in Danger Girl. This is almost like, this is classically how you can take everything that's already been seen, already been done in movies and such, and then you distill it into one comic book. I do think this was out before Charlie's Angels, but I had to check. But I'm not sure. So even that, all that said, this thing is the hottest book out. There's no diversity. It's just cool comic books, right? So it's just a classic comic book of babes. And you talk about, there's so many good girl books, but this, he has the storytelling in it. It's not, as you had the Legends guys doing the really hard-edged storytelling, but this is just fun comic books, right? So you're not coming in here trying to kill yourself saying, hey, who is this relating to? This is just good girl art, fun characters, fun villains, evil, Nazi-like villains, good guys, super heroic heroes. And you can almost call out some of the people that he's cast as these persons. So this is just a fun comic book. It's still fun looking at it now, right? So when I got the preview, right, and we get introduced to Abby Chase, and it's co-written by Annie Hartnell, Scott Campbell, and it's another person who, I'm not sure what he's doing, but he was a part of one of the hottest books out. So Brandon Choi, who did Gen 13 with J. Scott Campbell, Andy Hartnell, you guys were a part of the hottest book ever. They should, distill some of that and do some more stuff. You also have the great Scott Dunbier. He's in this too. He does all the artist editions. He comes from Wildstorm. So you gotta always give them credit for bringing that to comic books, the larger editions, right? So Prelude the Danger, right? So here we got some crocodiles. Got Abby, who's our hero. She's the main hero in here. There's no one actually. I don't know. I think she's gonna run into the Danger Girl thing, but that's in issue 1. So we're gonna at least try to get through this issue 1 and maybe issue 2, right? I caught up on issue 1 and 2. Preview and issue 1. I'm not sure if I'm caught up on issue 2, so I'm gonna be flying blind here, right? So we got our Pierce Brosnan villain. He's sitting here. He's got a lot of bits here where he's talking to the skull. It's a lot of fun here as far as the scripting, but he's still have to put her to her death. he has to try to get a little feel around before he actually kills her. And then with the clear storytelling, even though there's this panel above her face, covering her face, we don't need to see her face. We know what's happening. She's concentrating on him. That's it. So it's kind of wacky, but it adds to the drama. So Cliffhanger would have some classic storytelling, and it would kind of push the boundaries of that, right? Got kicked in the groin, and then they do. Look at this. They decide they're gonna hold her feet down, so they put their feet. This is not really the best idea, right? I think that's why the cops kind of put their legs in between there, and they kick them out so they can't do anything. But you know, hey, he made it work. They actually put their feet on her foot, and she looks like she has huge feet, right? So she starts to hint that she's gonna kiss and make up. He falls for it again. A little last seduction here, and it's a diversion, right? And this, you saw what happened here. I don't know how she got out to do this, but it works. It's a cool shot. They fall to their death, and they immediately get eaten. He escapes. They got other people here that's there, so he's blocking. We got a little Roger Moore moment where she jumps over the alligators, like in the movie. I think a stunt person really did that. Roger Moore, as you guys might not know, said that he's not able to run, so you never see him running in the movies. Check it out. That's what he said. Or said to the director. She gets a bit on the butt. And they show a little skin. This is the cheesecake friendly sort of series. So we'll get to see more and more of that, right? So she's like, hey, there's a van flying around, but she can hotwire it. That's cool. So we got two things going on. He shuttles out, gets to a boat. We kind of get lost here. We don't know what's going on here, but we know they're going to meet up. So he's going, she's going. She's getting chased. We got this thing, and this was Annie Hartnell does some really great stuff as far as scripting, because the villain, he's talking to the skull. He's talking all this stuff, and she's complaining about him at the same time. So it's a really fun sort of sequence here that I can't really recreate for you. But if you go out and buy it, you'll see how fun it is. We'll get the trade. It's a nice trade. I think Byrne did the thing either on his website, or I think it can't be on, I guess it has to be his website. He was talking about, you know, how great this was. And it's like when you have these guys who kind of do what, it's kind of good to have these sort of, Art Adams clones to get these sort of gorgeous books out of people, right? So you'll see somehow it timed out, but then we had these other characters who we kind of saw on the cover. Did we see them on the cover? Yeah, we saw them over here. Silicon Valerie, right? And they're somehow tracking her. So when I was looking at this, I thought they were together, right? So she got to get ahead of them somehow. She's going, and she jumps off a cliff, right? So this is kind of how Burns Indiana Jones was supposed to be. Everything be a cliffhanger, right? I never got the giant size #1 issue. I wish I did. So here we go, some sketches, right? So let's go through these, right? We got Sydney, Natalia, right? Inspired by the classic 60s heroine. See, so that's what it even tells you. That's kind of stuff you saw before. Got Johnny Barracuda. We got obviously that's Sean Connery. We got Snake Eyes here. A little bit of G.I. Joe here. And this is kind of what comics is about. Kind of taking, like Superman is kind of like the Man of Bronze, the Gladiator, all these things kind of pushed into one. Any kind of good comic book just takes a bunch of things and kind of throws it in together. Like your Criminal Mastermind, your Dark Side, or your Darth Vader. Some other wacky sort of villain. We got Tattoo here, someone from from Indiana Jones. It would just draw from all this stuff, right? But it looks like it just had energy just bowling over. And here's a great ad right here. So I'm just gonna let it sit. I was gonna try to make this the cover picture, but it probably has too much dialogue to do it. But they're really trying to sell this. And you say, oh, is Jari Barracuda kind of the bad guy? Who knows, right? But it has danger. Let's go through it. Danger is loaded with girls, and not just any girls. These are foxes. These foxes are international spies, and they're packing heat. Tons of turbocharged action. Nail-biting suspense, says Silicon Valley. And don't worry, ladies, we haven't forgot you. Danger Girl also has romance, but not too much romance. See, and they're kind of trying to sell it to girls, even though guys were in here buying tons of these books. There's an array of villains, and each thrill-packed issue includes Ironclad Danger Girl guarantee. Guaranteed on time, guaranteed kick-ass. That is a lie. That is a lie. It was not on time. Definitely not on time. Sorry to say. But even a few laughs, yes. And it's all united in one great story. We even asked these real cartoon kids what they think of Danger Girl. Totally awesome. Right on, homies. And then they talk about the giant size edition, right? So fun ad, right? You have a date with Danger, y'all. Go out and buy it. All right? Well, 11 minutes in. See what we can do. So this is the first issue. I didn't get the giant, sad to say, I didn't get the giant size version, right? So this is the guy who scheduled all this stuff, right? This is the guy that would be in your late 90s, 2000s, the guy in the chair sort of thing, who booked all this stuff and is talking to Deuce, who's kind of our, and you get in the cliffhanger would be a story so far, like in there, but it'll be a visual one. And this is before Marvel started doing it in all their books, I think. So it's kind of cool that they hit the ground running. Topless girls, doesn't hold back when it comes to his skin and his cheesecake, right? So other thing was interesting that he got a little bigger with his art, right? Kind of like, I think Al Rio does a great kind of J. Scott Campbell, and he kind of incorporated the biggerness in his stuff, which kind of worked for this thing. Even though it's kind of a teen book, it's kind of not. So she jumps in there. She leaps as it's going down. She leaps from it, so she won't go down with the car. She goes down, the harpoon gun, everything. As far as storytelling, you have to set it up, which is cool. So she sees that, of all the luck you can have. You say, oh no, this is my Jeep, not again. He knows it's Abby. She shoots the harpoon into it and follows. Now this might be tough, but it's comic books, so you don't have to worry that it's not going to work, that she's being pulled out there with it. All right, so they go in there. They see all this other stuff going on. She goes there, drops him. And at the same time, she's still getting shot at, right? So she's ultimately dodging bullets, and she gets this is action-packed. It's really cool. All right, and then they also go for all this, still some skin stuff. He falls down there, and he's joking around with her, hit with a fish. He's about to go over the cliff. He's got the drop on her now. Like, no, it's gonna fall over. But then finds out that he's, lost his hair. Right? And she doesn't know who it is. I thought it was. So then he said, no time to think about it. Let's go. Right? And he falls to his death. And explodes. Cliffhangers presents. And as I said, you're going to see stuff you saw before. Danger Girl. Right? This, I guess, it had to be the cover page. All right, this, J. Scott Campbell, Andy Hartnell. I have to look up to see what he's done next, because, this was really a really hot book, right? So you got your James Bond kind of open, visual sort of thing, title sequence. It works really well. Got to give it to him, right? Battle Chasers, I showed you it. It's right here, guys. It's not going nowhere. I gotta find 1 and 2 somewhere in the basement. Sorry. All right. So she's watching Silicon Valley's watching TV, and I forgot her name. Sydney turns the channel, right? And yeah, and then it's just somehow we saw it was in the preview, and it just seemed to get better in the next issue, right? So the girls are bickering a little, kind of ooh, and then he sees that Natalia got the scar on the back, right? But she's not a part of any of this. She's trying to get out of there, and he's like, nope. She doesn't want to be part of it like anyone, but then Deuce comes, right? Then, of course, going to talk her into it. And say they're kind of spies, kind of like James Bond. Yep, they're Operation Danger Girl. So it was said in there. I didn't realize it was. It's been a while, right? So he's kind of the James Bond of it. And he's kind of saying these troops have still been going and doing their things. He has to stop them. Right? And it's kind of the G.I. Joe aspect to it. So we have Natalia Castle from Russia, Silicon Valley, the computer from Oxford, Abby Chase, who does everything. And this has your I guess they did it later. Oh man, they did it later in what's that thing? The Kingsman, right? So she's kind of your Indiana Jones type of female, and this is your every woman. She's a Renaissance woman, and she's kind of the lead of everything, right? Marksman, kind of a modern day Robin Hood, right? And Crimson, here's the other one. I got to show you the other one. This was Humberto Ramos, who's a great artist in his own right. Really stylized. I think, he's just a fun artist. He's done some great Spider-Man stuff too, right? So you're gonna get all your cheesecake oil all the time in this series. A lot of shots, and as we go along, they're getting ready to. And Abby's not really up to this stuff, right? Don't think she's cut out for it. So even though she's as hot as the rest of them, she's really not with it, right? And he gets her to go along. So they go on this first mission, right? And they're gonna meet up with some people, and they're scouting the location. And any chance you can get skin, they'll find it, right? And Abby's got her undercover gig, and it's not the don't blow your cover. This is just crazy. Like, this is a quintessential J. Scott Campbell book. It's like, I thought once you got this series, when you see someone doing their creator-owned book, you're like, oh, this guy's going to be doing this forever. And we only got, I think, 8 issues out of him. All right? So, see, once they get the information, oh no, get the information, but then this guy shot the guy, and then they try to kill off everybody else. What's happening? He shot him right in the face, and they're getting away with the information, right? So Danger Girl is going out there chasing after him, right? So we get their high-speed chase. They do some great car chases in here. You wouldn't think they would work out for a comic book. But speed lines was a thing of the time, and they kind of really captured this sort of thing pre-Fast and Furious. Now, see, this is cool. She's here. Have that sort of vacation aspect. But Sydney does her thing. She's going on an adventure. We get to see a little more of her since we see so much of Abby. And she gets bothered, but she has the way to stop this guy and regretfully takes him out. Where are we at? Wow, that went quicker than expected. So, see, and then on a cliffhanger in issue 2. Do we need to go to another one? No, we're not going to go to another one. Stormwatch, it's like right there. It's like right there. Like, it's really sad that this book didn't keep going. And as I look through this one, it's really sad. But these guys were great artists, and they moved on. That's the other thing with big success. sometimes people move on, or they gotten all the comic books they wanted to get out of themselves. So I don't know. There's still some other Danger Girl books that are out there. There's a total of 8. I did the first 2, right? I did the prelude, the preview, and the issue 1 to introduce all of them. There's still some bits that I have not spoiled yet because there are other things, but it's definitely like taking all the stuff that you've seen and distilling it into one. Your Charlie's Angels, I didn't say that. Like, but take that Charlie's Angels with James Bond, what is it, Indiana Jones, G.I. Joe, and you put it all into one thing, whereas G.I. Joe is kind of putting your army, your your James Bond aspect, your superheroes, and you kind of distill it into one thing. So you got these sort of cool sort of things. So there's a bunch of other stuff that's going to be happening here that if you haven't checked it out, haven't got the trade, you should definitely check it out. Spinner Rack out.